Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm gonna be doing a mastering tutorial, but I've already tried to do this for like 3 days now. I realized that it's way too much information to put in one, so for this one, I'm just gonna do a base layer for what I do on all my tracks for mastering, and it should give you guys some good tips, some good detail on how to get started yourself. A few weeks down the road, I'll make really in-depth mastering tutorials, like 4 parts that go over everything. But for now, hope you like this. It's just what I do, so don't get all pissed off and fucking nutty buddy and all math on me, all right? So here we go. Hope you learned something. Yeah.
New tripod. Ugh.
Real quick, first thing you want to do is you want to open up Ozone on the desktop, so the standalone version. Make sure you remove the 3 modules that are already up there, and you want to drag in a reference track. Now all we're using this for is for the levels reader, right? So we just want to see what the peaks are at, that way we can match it with our own. And then it's just also a quick way to just flip over, listen to this one, flip back to yours, and see if the sound is similar to what you're going for. All right, let's get started. We want to add in fresh copy of the Ozone plugin. On the first band, go to 150 hertz and increase the gain by 2, and let's make it a bell. What that does is that gives the kick a little bit more power. On band number 3, we're going to go to 350 hertz and we're going to reduce it by 2. What that does is add some separation between the lows and the low mids. I then go over to about 3K on band number 5 and I raise that by 2 dB, and then I'm going to spread this out a little bit so it has a little bit more room. This is for lead synths, lead vocals, and all that stuff, so that they sit a little bit prettier in the mix, because vocals and leads are the king, right? All right, so we need to add that airiness and that little shine on top of the track. So to do that, we go to band number 7, we go to 700K, and we're gonna raise it up by 1 dB. In the dynamics module, we don't do too much. So the main thing that we're doing here is we want to add some limiting and compressing to some of the bands just to keep them under control, right? So for the low end, all we're going to do is -1 for the limiter, -15 for the compressor. The low mids, only thing we're going to do is -15 on the compressor. That's mainly because I have OCD, and if it's not 10, 15, or 20, I kind of freak out. Okay, next is on the mid highs. On the limiter, -5 dB, and on the compressor, -15 dB. It's just gonna make sure it doesn't go over and blow your listener's fucking eardrum. These things, look at those. Those are precious. We can't be breaking those. And oh, we're also gonna add 0.5 gain to the mid highs. And then on the highs, we're going to do -1 on the limiter and -15. You see the trend? You see the trend? All right, on the maximizer, we're going -0.1 because we don't want it to really turn things down at the last step. What we want is we want to make sure that nothing peaks and is going to distort for our mix down. All right, and then we're also going to take the threshold and make it -5. And then we're gonna add one more module, and that is the imager. And this track is already pretty wide, but what this does is allow any synths at the high end or the mid-high end to spread out a little bit and makes your leads and vocals and everything sound much bigger than they would without this, right? So first thing we want to make sure is that our low end is always mono. It's always right in the dead fucking center. All right, so we want to make sure that this is over about 200 hertz, and we want to make sure that the band is all the way down -100, dead center. The mid lows we leave alone. Mid highs we want to bump up usually to 20 on the highs and the mid highs, But since this is already a really wide track, I know that's the case, so I'm just gonna make it 15. Maybe because I'm also an idiot. And I put everything before the maximizer. Maximizer is last. Maximizer is making sure that everything that's happening is getting limited, and it's also doing the gain increase to make everything sound awesome. Now, last things I do is the camera keeps overheating. Fuck. Okay, so the last thing I do after everything is I add minus 0.1 dB reduction to the input, because again I have OCD and just want to make sure that it's not clipping before it gets to ozone. That way everything is super smooth at the output. Alright, let's listen. Let's A-B it real quick, alright? And all you fucking people out there that are gonna tell me, well, you need to cook in the ear, so obviously louder is better. Shut the fuck up. I'm just saying what I do. I don't give a shit about anything else. But for right now, that's a good base to give you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. That way I know not to make this stupid shit. And if you have any suggestions on things that you'd like me to do, fuck off, keep them to yourself. I'm gonna do what I want. Love you so fucking much. Peace. Boom.